This video is a bit longer than my normal ones, so here's a breakdown to save your time. Firstly, I'll be showing a quick compilation of clips showcasing the build. Next, an overall summary of how the build works, a look at some of the uniques needed, a detailed breakdown of skills, gear, passives, jewels, and any extra information afterwards. Let's get started. So for our summary, in general, we use Frostbolt as a projectile to crit lots, which triggers comets via cast on critical. The unique ring Snake Pit helps us to fork our Frostbolts, spreading them more, which means we crit more often, which means we cast on crit comets more often. Another key unique here is Maligro's Virtuosity Gloves. These not only buff our damage, but they also buff how often we proc cast on crit due to the way that energy generation works in the game. But we can't sustain these high mana costs and we'd like to boost our damage more, so we use Blood Magic, which converts all of our skills to life costs, and a couple uniques to get extremely high health regen and amp our damage. An Undying Hate Jewel dedicated to Tech Rod gives us access to Sacrifice of Blood, which gives health regen based on life spent recently. Then, the unique focus, Rat Piff, raises our skill life costs, gives us damage and gives us crit, all based on our maximum life. Overall, we crit constantly, which casts comets constantly, and all of these life costs give us extra damage, very high health regen, which thanks to Zealot's Oath, overflows into our energy shield. With that being said, now that you understand the necessary requirements for the build, now we can do a little shopping list, work out the prices to get this build together. So our first item, and all these prices are according to the time I'm making this video. Snake Pit starts at around 100 exalts. Similarly, Maligro's Virtuosity also starts around 100 exalts. Then the pricey part of the build, an Undying Hate Jewel, which must be dedicated to Tech Rod, starts around 7 divines, and a Rat Piff starts around 3 divines as well. So the bare minimum for this build is going to be around 10.5 divines. Obviously you might want better rolls on them, and you're going to need your own gear afterwards. Realistically, I would say this build is probably around 15 divines to get everything, including all your other gear. If you want some okay rolls on them, maybe around 20 divines. Let's start off with our skills then, going in detail. First up, the ones that are important. We'll go over Frostbolt first. If you can afford it, Atalui's Bloodletting in here is amazing. It's a huge damage boost. It's not necessary to make the build work, but it's going to double your damage at least. Pinpoint Critical is necessary. We want to crit constantly, and we don't lose the crit damage bonus because we have Maligro's Virtuosity gloves. Those will set our crit damage bonus to 250%. Nothing can change that. Here, Scion's Temper is nice. We have a chance to shoot extra frost bolts around us. We have Fork so that we can crit more, so that we can fork them more often. And we have Projectile Acceleration free here, so that they're moving faster. You can see here, we're constantly sending them out. Okay, that's Frostbolt. Next up then, important would be Cast on Critical. You want a Comet in here. Boundless Energy, so it gains more energy. Energy Retention, so it has a 35% chance to refund its energy costs. Spell Cascade makes it really nice. You're just hitting comets everywhere. And Pinpoint Critical is of course nice as well, because then we're constantly critting with our comets, and again we don't lose damage on them thanks to our unique gloves. Okay, that's essentially all you need to do, like mapping. These are the only things you're going to be using while mapping. Anything else after this becomes for bossing. First, we can start off with Sigil of Power. This is quite nice. It gives us more damage when we're inside our magic circle, and the more we spend, the more damage we get. You can see our Frostbolt is 151,000 DPS. I walk out, it's 95,000. So we're gaining around 50% damage while inside here. That's great for any high HP enemies. Inside Sigil Power, we have increased cooldown recovery, we have increased area, we have increased skill effect duration. Next then, we'll take a look at our Frostbomb. Increased exposure, because we're using this not for damage, but to expose bosses. We have less detonation time, so they go off faster. We have life tap here. This isn't needed anymore. That was in there when I was experimenting with something else. So we need overabundance, because Frostbomb's limited to just one. And we want Spell Echo, so that it echoes when we cast it. We get 2 Frostbombs, they go off very quickly. Okay then, we've done Frostbomb, Sigil of Power, Cast on Critical. We then come to Frostwall next. Frostwall has of course more crit chance. It has more life, so they do more damage. We have Glass, because I had the extra support gem slot. And Spell Cascade as well, so that we pop more of them when we press it. There's actually an extra slot in here, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want in this. The last skill that we use is Elemental Weakness. Casts the boss, makes them squishier for us. We have Cast Ground, we have Heightened Cast, we have longer duration, and we have Focus Cast, so it comes up faster. I'm going to obviously explain these more, but just for your weapon set skills, you are going to want Frostbomb on weapon set 2. You're going to want Cast on Critical on both, it doesn't hurt. You're going to want Frostbolt on weapon set 1. You're going to want Frost Wall on weapon set 1. And Elemental Weakness on 2. Essentially, weapon set 2 is your debuffing set. This will have Frostbomb and Elemental Weakness, and of course Sigil of Power, which is weapon set 2. For your weapon set 1, you'll want Cast on Critical, you'll want Frostbolt and Frostwall, because these are all your damaging abilities. You'll notice there's a lot more abilities. We'll get into them later, because they're not really needed right now in the guide. Next up, we'll be going over the gear. Starting with your wand, you will want spell damage, cold spell skills level. You'll want crit chance, is really nice. And then if you can get lucky, this break armor on critical hit with spells is fantastic. Because if you have Atalui's Bloodletting socketed, then you will benefit a lot from the broken armor on the enemies. Okay, that's the wand. We'll go with the focus. It's the Ratpiff unique. Obviously try to get as good as you can afford for the rolls. We've gone over Maligro's Virtuosity. you just want high crit chance. That's the only thing that really matters here. I went for 2 sockets so I can put some extra cast speed in there. The other unique is your snake pit ring. You want this in your left ring slot so that projectiles from spells fork. And again, you want increased spell damage and cast speed where possible here. Next we'll go over the non-unique gear. With the headpiece, in fact, with any of the gear in general, you are essentially just seeking to balance your resistances, so your elementals and chaos. You're seeking to get as high life as possible, and then anything that you've got left over can go into energy shield after that. For my helmet, you can see that I've got energy shield, life, resistances. You can see in my boots, I've got energy shield, life, resistances. These aren't perfect by any means. With my belt, I've just gone for life and resistances. My chest piece here, I crafted this myself. I crafted energy shield on it, and then I went for 190 life, 8% increased maximum life, and quite a few resistances after that as well. And I got a triple rune socket in here as well, so I've got 3% increased maximum life in each of these. This means that this body armor alone is giving 17% increased max life. You can see when I remove it, my health goes from 3,900 down to 3,100 and a half, so it's responsible for around 750 HP in my belt. Which also affects our damage. You can see 92,000, 75,000. So chest piece contributes quite a lot. So if you can, you want to socket Soul Core of Jiquanis in here, but they're quite expensive. Then next, we'll go to the ring. You want increased cold damage on here if possible. And then again, life and resistances. And then for your amulet, you want flat life on it, you want percentage increased max life on it, you want level of spell skills, and then yeah, anything is up to you after that. I happened to get spell damage and recover 2% of max life on kill, which are both quite nice. Then for anointing it, you want Gem Enthusiast here. This is because Gem Enthusiast gives you 5% increased max life, 5% increased mana, which is irrelevant to us, and 5% increased move speed, which is a nice added bonus. This is also why my skill gems have a bunch of weird things that I'm not even using, like Spark, Frost Stars, Eye of Winter, Ember Fusillade. You don't need these for the build, but you need to make sure that you have enough support gems socketed in your build to be meeting the Gem Enthusiast requirements. And that's it for the... Oh, and sorry, in weapon set 2, you are going to want any chiming staff that's got a high level sigil of power. Personally, I chose one with high cast speed on it to make this animation as quick as possible so that I can swap back to casting. Also so that when I've got my chiming staff, I can curse quickly and I can frost bomb quickly as well. The next point to cover will be the passive tree, which frankly is a little bit complicated. Starting off, you're going to path along, coming along here, you're grabbing these life regen nodes because those of course are lovely in our build. They stack on our life regen. Come along, you grab blood magic here, that's important. Coming up and up and up, we're grabbing Zealot's Oath and just coming to grab a dual socket which is only 2 points away. You come along up more and you grab these points here. Some slight pen on elemental resistances and a huge crit and elemental damage buff. Once we're up here, you'll be coming down a bit, you'll be grabbing all of these arcane surge nodes here, because in combination with this node, it makes our arcane surge apply life regen rates, not mana regen rate. So all of this here is giving us cast speed and a huge amount of life regen. You come down a little bit more, you grab these, because these increase our life costs and increase our spell damage. Two things that we really appreciate. I kind of had some leftover points, I didn't know what to do. I put them into some energy shield here. I would recommend not taking this because it lets damage bypass energy shield, which means you could get one shot while you're spending your health. Anyway, after that, we're coming up more and more. I happen to have points left over, grabbing maximum energy shield here, just to beef us up a little bit more. I'm not going to talk about the weapon sets right now. I'll talk about them at the end of the passive tree. You're coming down and grabbing this dual socket here, just so that we have it. You come along, grab some intelligence, grab more energy shield whilst we're at it. Keep coming along. Grab some ailment and stun threshold here, which is lovely. Come along more, come all the way down. This is your dual socket you're going to want to put your tech rod jewel into, because then we come up here and we grab sacrifice of blood up here. It doesn't really work in any of the other dual sockets that we have, because it would grief us if we socketed it into any of the other dual sockets. So this is the best compromise that we can get. Okay, that's it for every generic passive point. Now is the weapon sets. Weapon set 1 is our damaging weapon set, and that's all of the red ones on this terrible UI. We'll grab increased cold damage, we'll grab level of cold skills, and some pen and extra cold damage. That's lovely for us. We also come along and we grab spell damage and projectile speed, because that's all pretty helpful for us. Come along some more, we grab a bunch of triggered spells gaining increased energy and a chance to refund more. You don't really want this because it gives mana cost efficiency. We don't want cost efficiency, we want the opposite, we want increased costs, so do not grab this here. If you wanted, you could maybe grab these 2 points here to buff your comet damage some more. The other weapon set points we grab here so that our hits ignore the elemental resistances on frozen enemies, and here so that we have increased freeze build up and extra damage against frozen enemies. Lastly, you grab this crit chance here, though this is debatable whether or not you need it. It depends on your build. Come along more, and the last points for weapon set 1 are going to be these increased energy and crit chance nodes here. Then we have our weapon set 2, which is our debuffing set. They get the elemental exposure coming off here for our frost bomb. They get skill effect duration for frost bomb and curses. We come along here for curses, along here for curses. You come along more and you put some of the last points into curses there. That's it for the passive tree. And then we're going to have the ascendancy we can talk about next. The main things that are valuable on the Titan Ascendancy are the increased effect of small passive skills. That's obviously kind of helpful. And the 15% more maximum life. That's what I appreciate as well. Don't know if Titan is really good here or if maybe Blood Mage is better. I'm not sure. The reason I chose Titan is because I already had a Titan leveled and I don't have a Witch leveled. So Blood Mage may actually be the better ascendancy, but it certainly works well on Titan. There's no denying that. Frankly, these last 2 points kind of just have 2 points left over. We want this. We want this. We don't really need anything else in the tree. I shoved them into stun build up in case the physical damage from our spells contributes to stun. I don't really know whether it will or not, but we've got 2 leftover points, so hey, might as well. The last thing in the build then will be jewels. For our jewels, you really are just focused on, there's a few things you'll like. Spell damage is nice, maximum energy shield is nice, cast speed is nice. Increased energy for meta skills is nice as well. What you really want to go for is crit chance. Crit chance is really great here because your goal is to be crit capped on Frostbolt. You can see I'm at 100% chance here. Now when it comes to critical hit chance for your passive tree, your jewels, your items, it's up to you to take the initiative and make these judgments yourself. Do a little bit of optimization, tweak things so that you are crit capped, but you're not wasting anything. Try testing around, see if you can remove some things and still keep your 100% crit chance on your Frostbolts. I'm going to take this node out, and then I'm going to see. I'm now at 92% crit chance, so I can't really afford to drop this node. I'm going to want to keep that node, but what I can afford to do is, I believe, if I look again, crit capped 100%. I can remove one of my crit chance jewels. And I'm still on 100% crit chance. Can I remove a second one? 97%. But you have to keep in mind that we also have this notable here. Increased crit chance if you've triggered a skill recently, and we basically always have triggered a skill. So, in essence, I can see that I can optimize my build a little bit more. I can remove 2 crit jewels and still be crit capped. If you would like to make this build work on a budget, then I suggest avoiding Atalui's Bloodletting. It's quite an expensive support gem, though it will double your damage. Now, if you've got a higher budget, I absolutely recommend getting the support gem, as well as a Heart of the Well diamond can be really good for you. Lastly, if you've really got the budget for it, get yourself a triple rune socket body armor filled with 3 soul cores of Jaquani. It will skyrocket your health, which skyrockets your damage.